Welcome to In the Dark, and today we're going to talk about the evolution of the Hollywood sex symbol from the 1940s pinup craze to today's digital era. Thank you, Sabrina Carpenter and Addison Rae, leading us into the evolution of the Hollywood sex symbol. The 1940s, we had the pinup era and Betty Grable. Betty Grable was one of Fox's contracted stars as she starred in the film Down Argentine Way, which began her career at Fox. It was a time when wartime America was embracing the pinup model, and Betty Grable's famous pinup was the most requested image by U.S. soldiers. She ranked among the top 10 box office stars for 10 years. But it was her rear view pinup image that was taken for the film The Pinup Girl that became the most reproduced image in the history of Hollywood. The 1950s brought us the blueprint, the goddess, the sex symbol, Marilyn Monroe. Movies like Gentlemen Prefer Blondes and The 7-Year Itch cemented Marilyn as the sex symbol of the era. For me, it was the film Niagara. Niagara exploited Marilyn's sex appeal into a box office phenomenon. And it was the iconic subway scene in 7-Year Itch that is remembered to this day. While in her career her films grossed over $200 million, her likeness and her image remains one of the most sought after in American history. While the 1940s and the 1950s brought us blonde bombshells, Betty Grable and Marilyn Monroe, the 1960s gave us modern goddesses, brunette sirens, beginning with Elizabeth Taylor. Elizabeth Taylor embodied the new kind of sex symbol. Films like Cleopatra and her high-profile romances made her the most talked about woman in the world. She embodied celebrity, culture, and global phenomenon. Elizabeth Taylor became the first actress to earn a $1 million contract for Cleopatra, but it was her two Oscar-winning performances in Butterfield 8 and Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf that cemented her as one of Hollywood's most famous icons. And then we had Raquel Welch, who exploded onto the scene in the motion picture 1 Million Years BC and the iconic fur bikini. That image marked the shift from the glamorous 1950s to the more athletic sensuality of the 1960s. Her career redefined the Hollywood female lead, and her influence persists to this day the way actresses negotiate their contracts with studios and producers in Hollywood. In the 1970s, television became a focal point for American families, and Farrah Fawcett became the face of the decade. Her Charlie's Angels fame and red swimsuit poster turned her into a national obsession. In fact, that poster, Farrah did her own hair and her own makeup about a week before the Charlie's Angels call came, and to this day, her poster is the best-selling poster in history. Farrah's image was everywhere, more magazine covers than any other star of her time. She was a model before she was an actress, so that made her even more iconic with commercials like Brill Cream and Lincoln Continental. She starred in the iconic science fiction film Logan's Run and received a Golden Globe nomination for Extremities. But it was that iconic mane of hair that became legendary and cemented Farrah Fawcett into the stratosphere of iconic superstars. The 1980s. Enter Madonna. Madonna wasn't just a pop star, she was a cultural architect. She still is. In the 1980s, she continuously rewrote the rules of fame, gender, sexuality, and power. She democratized fashion. Lace-layered jewelry became accessible rebellion to millions of girls all over the world. Then there was MTV, where Madonna brought underground dance sounds into their visual ecosystem. The Material Girl made female ambition unapologetic, and she engineered her own career into legendary status. The 1990s belonged to primetime soap operas. From Dallas to Dynasty, Knots Landing, they dominated primetime television, and Heather Locklear was the face of primetime. She not only had one, not two, but three monster, highly rated television shows. From T.J. Hooker to Dynasty to Melrose Place, Heather Locklear truly dominated primetime. Her breakthrough performance came in 1981 as Sammy Jo Carrington in Dynasty. She eventually transitioned in 1993 to Amanda Woodward in Melrose Place. She truly dominated the decade on primetime television, and quite frankly, we weren't worthy. The 1990s also gave us the global phenomenon known as Baywatch and Pamela Anderson. She played the character of C.J. Parker, and that red swimsuit running down the beach will always be legendary. The show was the most watched show on television on the planet. Pamela Anderson as C.J. Parker in that red bathing suit to this day is just legend. She had a very familiar role on Home Improvement, but her role on Baywatch is what cemented her as the global sex symbol. Her look defined 1990s beauty culture, athletic, sun-kissed, and hyper-glamorous. That was Pamela Anderson. The turn of the century, Y2K, gave us the blockbuster bombshells, beginning with Halle Berry. She is a trailblazing cultural icon. Her career spans over 3 decades, redefining representation, dominating major franchises, and breaking historical barriers. She shaped modern pop culture by bringing the iconic Storm to life in the film X-Men. Then she solidified her status as a global icon, as a Bond girl in Die Another Day. She made history by becoming the first African-American woman to win Best Actress at the Academy Awards for Monsters Ball. Monumental cultural footprint, that's Halle Berry. Scarlett Johansson emerged as a cinematic sex symbol, blending vulnerability and mystique to her roles. The role of Black Widow in the Marvel Cinematic Universe became career-defining. She recently joined the Jurassic Park franchise in Jurassic World Rebirth, and she cemented her status as one of the biggest box office actresses in the history of Hollywood. Sensual, intelligent, and franchise-driven, that's Scarlett Johansson. The 2010s through the 2020s have brought us into the digital sex symbol. From pop siren Sabrina Carpenter to TikTok discoveries like Addison Rae. Sabrina Carpenter embodies a musically driven, self-authored, modern sensuality. Rooted in personal agency, she blends humor, confidence, and performance. Empowered and narrative-driven, that's Sabrina Carpenter. TikTok-era discoveries like Addison Rae democratized fame, virality replacing studio casting. Rising from TikTok dances to Main Street entertainment and brand power, making the sex symbol algorithmic, shaped by engagement, relatability, and constant visibility. From Grable's wartime pinup to Marilyn's mythic glamour, Raquel's modern goddess energy to Farrah Fawcett's dominance of television. From Pamela Anderson's global dominance to Sabrina Carpenter's and Addison Rae's digital native reinvention. The Hollywood sex symbol evolves with each generation, but the cultural fascination never fades in the dark.